Hello, everybody. How are you today? Welcome. This is an English presentation. Welcome to Spade Institute. Now we are going to talk about the tenses, present, past, and future, okay? So, what is this important in our life? This is important because we are learning how to use it. Present is now, past is done, and future is coming, so it's unpredictable. So now now that we know about this, I'm going to introduce myself and then I'm going to introduce the English language, okay? So, I'm JImenez, I'm from Quito, Ecuador, and this is my presentation. In better way. When it was getting better, it was done the several 16. So it starts in the year 50,000 to 16,000 after Christ. When also it starts to be done because of the communities which lives all around Europe. For example, this is a Germanic language. Well, as the name says Germanic, it's identified that it comes from Germany. So the first tribes all around Germany walk around all Europe and then they start to talk the first English language. Hello again. Sorry, we are back. So we were talking about the Germanic language, which star all around Europe. So Germanic language, that the name says, it came from Germany. So the first language came because of the tribes which walk all around Europe. And the Germanic tribes walk around, and it's called Anglo-Saxon language. Why it's called Anglo-Saxon? Because English language is called Anglo-Saxon, and also it comes because of the north of the continent. That's why it's called that. Okay, now that we know how the first language started all around the world, we are going to continue. I want to demonstrate you something in the map. So let me check, please. Now, I want to show you also how the first languages start to be done all around the world. Here we got the map. Over there we got Europe, and also I'm going to show you some countries. Okay, so the first tribes begin here in the first map of Europe. For example, here we have Portugal, and also here we got Spain, then we got France, we got Italy, over here we got Germany, and some other countries that we got. For example, here we got Norway and Swiss. But what is the topic about this? So the thing is that, as I was saying, the German people walk all around Europe, and then they start to reproduce the first language, which is English. So here we are in German, and then they move all around Europe. But what is the point here? The point is that when they move all around Europe, they came to enjoy, to continue traveling around two islands. The first island is United Kingdom. And the second island is Ireland. So nowadays, Ireland is part of the United Kingdom. So when the first tribes came to Europe, to walk around Europe, they started to move all around that countries, and then they moved to the big island. So this big island is called United Kingdom. And then here we got Ireland, which is also part of the United Kingdom. So here is when the first language started to be spoken all around the world. And also, why the United States speak English? This is the consequence of this. You wanna know? So here we got Alaska, here we got Mexico, and also here we got United States. So when the first people start to get migration, they come to the American continent, and then United Kingdom people were the people who came to America continent, especially to Canada and United States. So that was the first migration we got. And that's why people in the United States speak English here in our continent. With the same consequences, we can say that Spanish people came here to the rest of the continent, for example, Mexico, and also Ecuador, and all around the South America continent. But here we got another special case. People from Portugal were the people who came to Brazil. And that is the consequence that they speak Portuguese. Okay, now that we know how people speak English and some other language like Spanish and Portuguese, we are going to focus about the English language. I'm going to show you how it starts. Okay, so language has structures. For example, Spanish has a structure, English has a structure, and many languages has a structure. What is the English structure language? The English structure language is subject plus verb plus complement. Okay? Which is the subject? The subject is, like in Spanish we say, yo, tú, él, nosotros, ustedes, ellos. At the same way we got it in English, and it's represented in this way. You see, we got I, which is yo, you, which is tú, he, which is él, she, ella, it, esto o esta, we, nosotros, you, ustedes, and they means ellos o ellas. You see, the same as the Spanish. We got also the same structure, and also the verb. Which are the verbs in Spanish? So in Spanish we got verbs. What are the verbs in Spanish? All the words which are terminated in ar, ir. For example, we say, you see, in Spanish we got bailar. It represents with the ending of ar, ir. Termination in r. Reír, termination in ir. Jugar, ar. And comer. You see, now we are structuring this better. You see, we got subject plus verb, and now we need the complement. Can be what? Can be the complement. Bailar. For example, if I say, I dance, bailar, which means dance, I dance, for example, it can be the rhythms. The rhythms can be salsa, merengue, vallenato, cumbia, for example. Reír, jugar, comer. For example, let's see about comer. He eats, and the complement can be any complement. Let's see how it works. He eats. He can eat salads, for example. Ensalada. Or maybe he can eat pizza. Or maybe he can eat, let's see, a soup. So now that we know subject plus verb plus complement, we can say that we complete all the structure. And all the English is going to be based in all this structure. Subject plus verb plus complement. And now we are going to check it about the times, the tenses, about present, past, and future. But now we know how to use subject plus verb plus complement. Now we just have to change the Spanish to English. For example, comer means eat. But we are talking about the third person, which is he, she, it. And we had to add a letter S at the end of the verb. For example, comer means eats. Eat plus the S, eats. So, for example, I can say, I eat salad. You eat pizza. He eats with the letter S. He eats soup. She eats pizza. It eats salad. We eat salad. You eat pizza. They eat soup. Okay, now we know the structure. Let's start with the tenses. Let's start with the present tense. Okay, to start with the present tense, I'm gonna give you some examples. Let me check, please. Okay, the first example is this. I'm going to talk about the verb to be. The verb to be is called am is are, which is the verb ser o estar. Am is are. So, for this we are going to use the subject. Which are the subjects? I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. Okay. For example, I say, okay, so for the verb to be, also we got a rule. Which is the rule? This is the rule. Am is are. Verb ser o estar. So the rule is this. I am. You are. He is. She is. It is. We are. You are. They are. Okay, so now we know this. It means yo soy o yo estoy. For example, I say yo soy, tú eres, él es, ella es, esto es, nosotros somos, ustedes son, ellos son. O el mismo verbo también puede ser significado con la palabra o el verbo estar. Yo estoy, tú estás, él está, ella está, esto está, nosotros estamos, ustedes están, ellos están. So it's simple. That is the verb to be. Now we are going to complete this example. You. If we use you, we got to use you are. So you got the answer. You see? And also, yes, I with am. So, simple present tense of to be verb form. Okay, so this is the first example. Are you a teacher? And also, here we got a question. When we got questions, so the verb to be has to come to the beginning of the personal pronoun. You see? Are you a teacher? ¿Eres tú un profesor? It's talking about you. It's talking about tú. So we got to use tú. Are you a teacher? And the answer is yes. You cannot say yes, tú eres. No, it doesn't make sense. But you can say yes, I am. Yo soy, because he is asking or she is asking me, so I have to answer about myself. So yes, I am. You see? I am. So, this is correct. I'm gonna give you another example. Let me check. Here we got. Your name, Marcus? Another question. You see? Interrogative. And also, here we got the answer. So with the same case, with the same structure, you can say, your name. So it's not talking about Marcus, it's talking about your name. So there, you can replace it. What is your name? So we are talking about it. Which is it? It is. But it's a question. So you got to put the verb before the personal pronoun. So it is. So is your name Marcus? Correct. That makes sense. And the answer, yes. It's affirmative. Yes, it. And also it is. You see the verb when it's before? Here you got a question. And the verb when it's after is an affirmation. You see? And also, you got the subject plus verb plus complement. As we can see. Here we got the subject. Here we got the verb. And here we got the complement. Here we got the subject. Here we got the verb. And here we got the complement. Why is the subject before the verb before of the subject? Because we are doing a question. When we do a question like this, the subject comes before the personal pronoun. And we continue maintaining the same structure, subject plus verb plus complement. I'm going to give you one more example, okay? Okay, so in this example, which is the subject? Your children. We are talking about niños, so it's in plural. Your children, plural. When we are talking about just one, it's child, so it's singular, but we are talking now about children, which is plural. If we got plural, personal pronoun, which is the verb? They. And which is the verb? Are. So we can replace it. Are they or are your children? So you see, it makes sense. And the complement is here. So we got the subject, we got the verb, and we got the complement. Why is the verb first? Because we are making a question. So here we got the question mark. And the answer now is no. They. Ellos no son. No, they. Aren't. No, they aren't, because I'm using this, the same. They plus are. But is negative, so I have to put not with contraction. So this is the first tense, which is called present tense. And then I'm going to show you about the simple plus. Simple past tense. Remember, you have to continue maintaining the structure, which is the structure subject plus verb plus complement. As you saw, here we got the present, and now we are going to change the verb to the past. we got to change the verb. When you change the verb, automatically the tense is past or is future. But now we are going to change the present verb. Let's see how is it. Remember, am, are, is. This is the structure, basic structure, and this is the rule. But now let's see. The simple past tense of the verb to be is I was. You were. He was. She was. It was. We were. You were. They were. So you see, it's replacing the simple verb or the simple form of the verb to be in present way. So now is in past form. So it just changed. Was and were. Simple, right? Let's see. Third person. He, she, it. Special case. He was, she was, it was. But the case here is the first personal pronoun, which is I. It changed to the similar to the third person way. So I was. And the rest of them are plural, so were. Okay, let's see with some examples, maintaining the same structure, how is wrong. Okay, here we got an example. It says, okay, let's see how it works. Here we got my son. Who we are talking about? My son. Who is he? My son, he. Mi hijo, él, he. If I say mi hijo, I'm talking about he. The rule says that I got to use was. My son was. My son was short in school. But now, here we got a time. Now, we are talking about present. So, over there, my son was short in school, but now, present, past and present. But now, he, as we know, he is. Remember the present tense? He is. So let's see. My son was short in school. Mi hijo fue bajo en la escuela. Pero ahora él es alto. Ahora presente. Y mi hijo fue, pasado del cero estar, fue en la escuela. Pero ahora es alto. You see? So we share the present tense and the past tense. Let's see with another example. Let's see. Beginning understanding that this is a question. So we got the question mark, identify it. question mark. When we got a question mark, remember, we got to use the verb before the personal pronoun. So, you at the stadium yesterday. Where we got the subject? Here. You. Here it is. You see? At the stadium yesterday is the complement. You see? So, what we need? We need the verb. Which is the verb? You were. So, we use were. First at the personal pronoun because it's a question, so we got complete. Subject plus verb plus complement. And now the answer. Yes, sí dice. Yo estuve en el estadio ayer. ¿Estuviste tú en el estadio ayer? Sí, yo estuve. So we got to use the same rule. Yes, I. You see? I was. Yes, I was. So here is after the subject because it's a question, before the subject, and here is after the subject because it's an affirmative answer. Okay? So I'm going to give you one more example. Yesterday. Remember, we got to pay attention in this part. Here we got time, which is telling us where, when it was done. So it means about yesterday. So it's past tense. Here I got another example, which is when we are using this time. So you can see. So here it said, yesterday, also. Yesterday, let's say, Juan and Maria were in Quito. Okay, let's see. First of all, identify that we are talking about yesterday. So, past tense, automatically. Yesterday. Juan and Maria. Juan and Maria. So we are talking about two people. Juan, he, Maria, she, but we cannot write down he and she. Maybe possible, but it's not correctly. Juan and Maria. How we can change it with a personal pronoun? Juan, Maria, plural, dos, they. They with were. So yesterday, Juan and Maria, the rule. Just use the rule. You see, it's simple like this. Where? Yesterday, Juan and Maria were. They were. Yesterday, they were in Quito. Ayer ellos estuvieron en Quito. Yesterday, ayer, past tense. Today. You see, a combination. Present plus past tense combination. But today, they. Who is they? Juan and Maria. They are. Why are and not where? Because we are talking about today, present tense. Remember, here we got they are. I am, you are, he is, she is, it is, we are, you are, they are. Present tense. They are in Cuenca. So, ayer Juan y María estuvieron en Quito. Hoy ellos están en Cuenca. So, where? Estuvieron, pasado, and are, presente. You see? Here we got a combination. Past and present. Okay, I hope you are catching it and you are doing well learning English. Okay, let's see another tense. Let me check. Okay, let's see. So now we are talking about the future tense. So the future tense, we use two words that can help us to identify in which tense we are talking about. What are the two words? We got will and shall. Let's check it. You see, will and shall. So, we are going to learn how to use it because they are kind of similar words, but they have a little bit of difference of the meaning of the sentence. Let's check it. Will and shall. So, in all of the personal pronouns, we got to use will and shall. They don't change here in the third person. I'm going to explain you something about the third person. This is it's called the third person because it means that we are talking about three people. So the first people is one, the second two, and the third person is three. For example, I'm Daniel, he's Juan, and she's Maria. If I say, hey Juan, how are you? Who is she? So Juan asks her, who are you? And then they say, I am Maria. And then Juan tell me, she is Maria. So we are talking about three people, so that's why it means third person when we are talking about three people. But everybody is interacting about the conversation. Okay, let's continue. You see, it doesn't change here. Everybody is the same with the personal pronoun. Will, shall. So everybody with the same. Remember, this is the future tense. Let's check the difference of will and shall. Okay, here I'm giving you the key about will and shall. So will, tener, it's an obligation to have. When you are using this, it means that you have the obligation, so it's 100% that you will have to use it. 100%. Why is 100%? Because it's an obligation. I have to do something. Because, for example, if I say, I have to work, I have to study. Yo tengo que trabajar. Yo tengo que estudiar. So it means that it's an obligation. That's why it's 100%. But shall, deber. Let's see, deber. Is it 100% or not? What do you think? Let's see, shall, deber. Yo debo trabajar. Yo debo estudiar. It doesn't sound that it's an obligation 100% like the example that we got before, which is will. It means that it has something like 80 or 70%. You see, 70% or 80%. That is the difference between will and shall. Deber or tener. Let's represent it also with some examples. Let's see. Okay, so here we got an example. I'm angry. Make some ceviche. If I say, I'm angry, that means that tengo hambre. If I tengo hambre, what does it mean? That I have to eat something, obligatory. So, what would you use? Will or shall? Because it's obligatory. Tú tienes que comer algo porque tienes hambre, porque es una necesidad. So, we are going to use will. I'm angry, I will make some ceviche. Yo haré algún ceviche. Yo haré algo de ceviche, yo cocinaré un ceviche. Y también puedes hacer una contracción entre el will, which means I'll. I plus apostrophe plus double L, which means I'll. I will, I'll. I'm angry. I will make some ceviche. Tengo hambre. Yo haré un ceviche. Ok, obligación. Estamos usando un will. Obligación de comer. Let's see another example with I'll. Before passing to the last example, which is to the next example, which is shall. Okay, so I hope see you again one day. I hope see you again one day. So how we change it? Now it's present, but we are going to change it to future tense. But we are going to use will or shall. Let's see. I hope. First of all, let's see the structure as I told you. A structure. Subject, I, verb, am hungry. You see? Subject plus verb plus complement. And the future tense, after the verb, and now we got a future tense. I hope, I, the subject, hope, the verb, and we are going to change it, the verb in present, to make it future, so I'm going to use, yo espero verte otra vez un día. I hope see you again one day. So, possibility, obligation, so, I want to see you again 100%. No, maybe. I want to see you. So I'm going to use I. Because it's saying I hope, yo espero. So the verb is hope. Yo espero, so it really wants to do it. I'm going to use I. So now we got a future tense, you see? Just putting I or will before the verb, you see? Subject plus verb plus complement. Future and complement. Okay, let's see 2 more examples. And now we are going to use shall. Okay, so let's identify here. We got a question. Check it. It was represented with a question mark. Let's see. Question mark. So we got a question. Okay, let's check the example. Go to a restaurant tonight. When we got a question, remember this verb, or in this case, auxiliary, comes to the beginning. That's why here we got the space to put it at first. So we are going to use go to a restaurant tonight. Is an obligation or is a possibility? What do you think? ¿Quieres ir a un restaurante esta noche? No es una obligación. Es una sugerencia, es una opinión, es una pregunta que puede ser sí o puede ser no. So, 100% no. 80, 70% yes. So we are going to use shall. So we are saying here, we are saying this to him, to who? To she, to he, or we can use to everybody. If we say to everybody, or for 2 people, we can use a personal pronoun, remember. So we are going to use shall. And then we got, in this case, the auxiliary. Here is the verb. And what do we need? We need the subject, right? Subject. So let's use we. We are talking about with a couple. Shall we? Shall we? So here we got the subject, the verb, and everything is the complement. You see? The same structure that we learned at the beginning of this class. We are using shall because we are changing the tense in the future, because we are saying tonight. Remember? Check it with the representation about the tense, tonight. So it's future. Subject plus verb plus complement. Shall we? Option. And the answer is yes, that's a great idea. So we say yes, an affirmation that is the subject, which can be represented with it, is with the contraction. Here we got is with the contraction, which is the verb. And also a great idea, which is the complement. You see? So here we got subject plus verb plus complement. Yes, that's a great idea. ¿Vamos esta noche a un restaurante? Sí, esa es una buena idea. You see? We are talking about future tense. And now let's see one more example. We are going to use shall again. Let me check. Here we got shall. Okay. Okay. Let's see one more example. And now we are going to use shall. This is a possibility. I'm going to ask you something to the people who is around me. It's very hot in this room. Okay, let's see. It, subject, is, contraction, verb. Very hot in this room, complement. So you see, all the structure has the same, subject plus verb plus complement. So, it's very hot in this room. Está muy caliente este cuarto. Dice, tengo o debo. Let's use shall to see. Shall I open the window? ¿Debo abrir la ventana? ¿Debería abrir? The room is hot, but it's not obligatory that I had to open the window. But maybe, can be. Maybe somebody likes the hot weather or somebody not. So I'm asking to the people who is around me. So that's why I'm using shall. Let's see, here we got the subject. Here we got the verb. And also here we got the complement. You see, the same structure. And we are using shall as an auxiliary to make the sentence in future tense. You see? Okay, my friends, so it's been the presentation about English. I have introduced you about the language, how it starts, how it begins. So it's very clear, I hope so, to everybody to continue learning English. And also, if you don't know any English, this is the opportunity to learn. This is the base of the structure of the English language. So, please, pay attention to the structure, subject plus verb plus complement, and remember, this is the basic structure. You can change the verbs because of the sentences. You can use it in present or past, and also future. Okay, my friends, thank you very much. It's been a presentation about the English class, Spade Institute. So take care. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Vale la pena tenerle aquí, no sé si está captando rudamente.
Ah, pero esto está muteado.
Sí,
No
También se graba.